What is up, my dear friend? My name is Tyler Joe Stratton, and I am your heartbreak recovery coach, as well as the best-selling author of my book, The Big Three, where I help people build joyful and loving relationships with themselves, others, and God after heartbreak, as well as the founder of the Happy Heart Academy, where I teach people how to live joyfully from their heart rather than their hurt, so that they can experience a more joyful present and be able to move through their heartbreak pain. And in today's YouTube video, we're just going to be talking about an introduction of who I am. If you're new here, welcome. But nonetheless, I want to talk about who I am, what this channel is really about. And then if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you the 3 most common mistakes that people make that oftentimes stop them from being able to move on from their ex or their painful past. So stick around to the end because you might be making one of those 3 mistakes. And once you have identified one of those 3 mistakes, what you're going to be able to do is finally move on and get unstuck. So let's start off with, who am I? Well, ideally, I am a breakup coach. I like to say that I'm a heartbreak recovery coach, and I help singles create happiness during their singleness. I help people to move through that heartbreak pain, that time and space when you've completely felt like you've lost yourself because you lost your significant other. I know how challenging this is. I was there too. And I talk about throughout my entire life experiences, relationships have been a constant heartbreaking struggle that have left me with many years of misery, counseling, battles of thoughts of suicide, as well as just painful agony and dark days. But yet I've pulled myself out of that and have created genuine, authentic happiness within myself. I am now happily married and just joyfully pursuing my passions and fulfillments. And it's been such a beautiful life. And I thank my painful past, because it's what has brought me here. And so I'm going to guide you back toward your happiness, walk you back toward your happiness through teaching you a lot about different ways in which you can move on, how to reestablish that relationship that you have with yourself, how to build a bulletproof heart that's not fearful to love. I'm going to be walking you through different ways in which you can process unwanted emotions, how to begin to process and let go of the painful past. How do you forgive the unforgivable? How do you accept the unacceptable? How do you move on when you don't want to move on and you still love them? I'm going to be talking about different ways in which you can equip yourself and your heart in a way that's going to help you to move through this in a more powerful manner so that you go from chaos to control, from heartbreak to happiness. That's why I'm here. I'm here as your guide. I'm here as your heart's eyes to help you to establish this painful road so that you can finally feel like you're getting back to yourself, like you're starting to gain momentum, like you're starting to be a little bit more excited about life, a little bit more hopeful. So we're going to be talking a little bit about ways in which you can process the pain. Then we're going to be talking a little bit more about how you can go about rebuilding that relationship with yourself, improving that connection with yourself so that you feel more joyfully and authentically you. And then we're going to be talking about how to create a hope-filled future, one that catapults you forward out of the painful past and into the positive, hope-filled future. And so that you can live peacefully and presently in the now, happily, single, and powerfully alone during this singleness. Now, the goal of this is so that you can finally reestablish that greater relationship with yourself so that you can be happy alone and so that you don't have to be reliant upon your ex or somebody else to make you happy. Because that was once me too. That when I lost my ex, I lost everything. I lost myself. I lost my identity. I lost my will to live, my will to have motivation to get into the gym, to be healthy, to be happy. When I lost my ex, I felt like I lost everything. And I know how dark of a place that can be. And because of that, I've learned how to navigate through those murky and stormy waters and create a sense of peace, self-reliance, and the ability to successfully manage difficult times and to stabilize my happiness for a long-term successful quality of life. And now I just want to teach you exactly how to go about doing the same thing. So I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that you're ready to grow. I'm excited that you're ready to learn. I'm excited that you're ready to move on. Because at the end of the day, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And I believe that you've come to the right place if you're ready to heal your heart and move on. Because once again, that's what I do. I help people to move on, let go, get unstuck so that they can finally recreate a new future, one that they're excited about. Now, if you're still here with me, Thank you for being here with me. I wanted this video to be short, but now I'm going to move into the 3 most common mistakes that oftentimes stop people from being able to move on and let go of their ex. The first mistake that I believe most people make, and when it comes to healing their heart and being able to move on, is that they believe that time will heal all wounds. This couldn't be more wrong. Time in and of itself, my dear friend, does not help you to heal your wound. If it did, you would have probably moved on and felt happier by now. I've worked with people that have been unhappy for 3, 5, and 7+ years. And it sickens me because they're like, oh, well, time will help you heal this. Time doesn't help you heal this. But it's what you do in that time that can help you heal this, wound. So if you're thinking that, in time I'll get over them, in time I'll forget about them, in time I'll forgive them, in time, you're wrong. Because you're relying on time by itself to help you heal, which is not the proper way to actually heal. And you'll oftentimes stay stuck in the misery in the past, painful past. And what will happen is when you think enough time has went through and went on, and you're like, okay, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, it's been 8 months, whatever the time frame, and you didn't actually do the proper work, you're going to re-enter a relationship broken, and you're going to end up bleeding on a person that never cut you, and you're going to ruin that relationship because you're going to bring the painful past into the current future or the current present moment, and it's going to jeopardize that quality of a relationship that you have with that next person. This is why healing your heart is so important during this time. But understanding what you need to do is what I'll teach you how to do. So if you want to learn how to begin to process and heal during this time, be sure to like and subscribe. There is probably a button around here to like and subscribe, depending on where you're listening to this. But nonetheless, the next thing is most people oftentimes think that distracting themselves from the pain can help them heal their painful past. This couldn't be more from being wrong. Oftentimes what we do is we ignore the pain, thinking that out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of heart. And this is more from the truth. Distracting yourself is only a temporary fix. It's only a moment of denial, and it's only a moment of relief. And sometimes, hey, it's great that you're being able to give yourself a moment of relief by distracting yourself with that really good Netflix series. Whether it's Stranger Things or, whatever it may be. I love Stranger Things, but nonetheless, whatever Netflix show that you're currently binging, you've got to ask yourself, why am I watching this? Is it for 1, entertainment, or is it from 2, distracting myself from myself and that relationship that I have with myself? Oftentimes people want to get into a relationship because they can't stand to be alone. They can't stand to be alone with themselves. They can't stand alone. They don't want to be by themselves. They find it boring. They find it unfulfilling. They find that there's no love and there's no happiness and there's no purpose. You see, a person doesn't give you that. They can contribute to that, but you yourself have to give yourself those things. And if you're struggling to create a relationship with yourself, it's oftentimes because you haven't did the work, you haven't spent enough time with yourself in a manner that doesn't equip yourself to distracting yourself. So if you're thinking that distracting yourself by watching another Netflix series, by sleeping with another person, by going out to the clubs, by reading another book, by listening to another podcast, by watching another YouTube video is going to help you through this time, it's significantly incorrect and not right, and it's not going to help you to move on, and it will keep you stuck. Because you're only putting a Band-Aid on it, and it's the painful past will continue to show itself until you've actually healed it. And last thing that most people often do that keep them stuck is they close off their heart. They oftentimes say that, I'll never love again. I'll never be happy again. I'll never allow someone that close to me. I'll be skeptical of love forever. I'll question everything. This is not the way to live. This is not, in my eyes, the way that God has designed you to live. You were created from love, to love, and to be loved. I believe that your greatest essence is to be loving. And so if you are closing off your heart, stepping away, and believing that love is the enemy, you're going to oftentimes stay stuck. And if you're struggling to love yourself or to rebuild a relationship with other people because you're fearful that you're going to get hurt, used, abused, manipulated, then stick around and subscribe, like I said, because we're going to walk through these, we're going to talk through these, we're going to work through these, we're going to give you step-by-step frameworks and practices and tools and ideas and tips, and we're going to share different people's painful stories with you as well along the way. I'm not going to let you down. I know what I needed the most during my time of singleness was people to, good people that I could surround myself by. People that would encourage me that, Tyler, you can do this. And so, my friend, if you're listening to this, I believe in you. I believe that you can do this. If I did this, you can do this. And many people, this is not the first heartbreak. This is not the first divorce. This is not the first loss. It might be yours, but many people before you went through this and successfully gone through this and turned their pain into their purpose. And you can do this too. So if you are ready to move on, if you're ready to let go, if you're ready to rebuild the relationship that you have with yourself and with others, and ultimately with God and everything in between, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, for we are going to dive deep together to help you to establish a better quality of life by rebuilding the relationship you have with yourself, others, God, and everything in between. My name is Tyler Joe Stratton. I am your Heartbreak Recovery Coach. Thank you for spending your time with me today, and I am excited for us to grow together. Talk soon.